Hey guys, in this video we're going to keep talking about systems word problems. We're going to look at a few new types of problems for this one. So let's look at number one. For this one we have Jenna working a part-time job at Reliable Robots, which sells electronics and hardware parts for robot creators. And one of her tasks is to analyze the company's finances in terms of the cost, so how much it costs them to actually run the company, and the income, so that's how much they actually make. Her boss, Mr. Robo, wants her to determine the break-even point for both the cost and the income. Now, what a break-even point means is how many items, in this case, how many gearboxes does she need to sell in order for the cost to run the company to equal the profits they get. Okay, so in order for them to break even, to not be in debt but not make any money. That's what the break-even point means. And so it says the company RR purchases gearboxes for $5.77 per gearbox plus a one-time credit fee of $45. RR sells each gearbox for $8.50, and our job is to find the break-even point. Okay, so for this problem, we're trying to find how many gearboxes Jenna needs to sell in order to break even. So that's what I'm going to let X be equal to. X is going to be the number of gearboxes, the number of things she needs to sell. If she sells too few, she's not going to make any money. If she sells more than the break-even point, obviously she's going to make a profit. So that's the goal, but we want to find how many she needs to sell to break exactly even. Y in this case is going to be equal to both my cost and my income, and that's in terms of money. Okay, again, we're assuming for this problem that the cost and the income are equal, because for a break-even problem, cost is always equal to your income. Okay, so I'm going to let Y represent both of those, the cost and the income. So when I write my equations, one of my equations is going to be my cost equation, how much does it cost to run the company, and the other equation is going to be the income equation, how much do I make? And both of them are going to start with a Y equals, since we're assuming that the money you make is equal to the money you spend for this problem. So let's determine now what it costs to run this company. It says down here that RR purchases gearboxes for $5.77 per gearbox. So they're like a retail place. They actually have to purchase these beforehand. So that's going to be 5.77x in our cost equation. They're buying those from this other company, plus this one-time credit fee of $45. So we're going to add 45 onto there. So that's going to be my cost equation. My income equation is how much are they selling these for? Well, they should be selling them for more than what they buy them for, okay, which is how businesses make money, and it says they sell them for $8.50 a piece. So my income equation is going to be Y equals 8.50x. Okay, now to solve this system, we can do what you learned how to do in class the other day. Go to your graphing calculator, and we can graph both of these equations. So if I'm going to go to my graphing screen, okay, I want to graph, first of all, the equation Y equals 5.77x plus 45. And you can be in function form for this, since these are both slope-intercept form. Okay, so I'll press enter for that. And then I want to graph my other equation, which is Y equals 8.5x. Press enter for that. Looks like I need to zoom out a little bit. So I'll go to my window zoom menu. And I'll zoom out just until I can see the intersection point, which looks like it's about right here. So now I'll go back to my menu, and I'll go to Analyze Graph, Intersection. And it looks like my intersection point is at 16.5, 140. Okay, so for this problem, X, since your intersection point is 16.5, 140, that means that X is equal to 16.5. Well, we can't make half a gearbox, okay? We can't sell half a gearbox, so we're going to round that up to the nearest whole. And we'll say that the company needs to sell 17 gearboxes in order to break even. Okay, let's look at the next one. This is going to be another break-even problem. It says a fashion designer makes and sells hats. The material for the hats costs $5.50 and the hats sell for $12.50 each. The designer spends $1,400 on advertising. We want to know how many hats must the designer sell to break even. So this is going to be similar to example 1. This time I'm selling hats, so I'm going to let X be equal to the number of hats that I need to sell. And Y again is going to be my cost and my income. Again, because both of those are equal to each other. So for my cost equation, again, that's going to be Y equals. Let's underline everything that deals with what the company is actually spending money on. So they have to buy the material for the hats. So it says right here, the material of the hats costs $5.50. So they're spending $5.50 per hat. So that'd be 5.50x. They're selling hats for $12.50 each, so that's not going to be in our cost equation. But they're spending, right here, it says they spend $1,400 on advertising. So in addition to that $5.50 per hat, we're going to add $1,400 to it. And that will be our cost equation. Our income equation is going to be this. Y equals, they're selling the hats for $12.50 each, so this is the income, $12.50 a piece. So Y equals 12.50x. So now I can go back to my graphing screen, clear these graphs. I'll go back to my normal window settings. And we'll graph these new equations. So my first one is Y equals 5.5x plus 1,400. Okay, and for that one I'll probably need to zoom out a little bit to see it. Okay, and then for my other equation, it's Y equals 12.5x. Okay, and I might need to zoom out a little bit more just to see the intersection point. Okay, and now I can see the intersection point is somewhere up here. So now I can go to menu 6.4 to find my intersection point. And it looks like my intersection point is 200, comma, you might see this weird notation here, 2.5e plus 3. All that means is 2.5 times 10 to the third power. That's your calculator's way of giving you scientific notation. 2.5 times 10 to the third power, which would be 2,500. So go back to my notes here. Intersection point was 200, comma, and again 2.5 times 10 to the third, which is also 2,500. And so we're looking again for the x value. We want to know the number of hats. It takes 200 hats to break even. Okay, let's look at our third example. For this one, we have Jurassic Park charging $20 for adults and $12 for children. Total bill for 454 people was $6,672. We want to know how many adult and how many children tickets were sold. So for this problem, this is not a break-even problem. We're trying to find two things. We're trying to find how many adult tickets were sold. So I can say X is my number of adult tickets. And Y can be equal to the number of child tickets. Now this may seem similar to a problem that we did in day one notes, and it is a little bit, but the information you're given is a little bit different for this one. For this problem, you're given basically two totals. You're given a total in terms of number of people. You know that there's 454 people going to Jurassic Park. You're also given a total in terms of money. You know there were $6,672 collected. So my two equations I'm going to write for this one is going to involve just the number of people or the number of tickets. And then my other one is going to involve money, okay, how much money was collected. So in terms of the number of people or the number of tickets, if 454 people went to the park, and we know that there were X adults and Y children, then we could simply say X plus Y is going to be equal to 454. Okay, that doesn't involve money at all, that just involves people. If X adults go and Y children go, then add those together, you should get the total 454. For the money, we need to know how much it costs per adult and how much it costs per child, and we get that from right here. It's $20 per adult to go to the park. So that's going to be a 20X, and it's $12 per child, so that's going to be a 12Y. So to find the amount of money, we take 20X plus 12Y, and that should be equal to our total from our money, which was $6,672. So that's going to be our system for this problem. And to find the answer for this, I can go to my calculator now. For this one, you're going to want to be in standard form, so go to menu 3, 2, 1, 3, because both of our equations are in standard form for this. Our first equation is x plus y equals 454, so that would be 1x plus 1y equals 454. Again, I want to zoom out for this one. And 454 is going to be way up here, so that's pretty good zoom out. And then for my money, 20x plus 12y equals 6672. Okay, which gives me that line, and the intersection point is right here. And so my intersection for this one is going to be the point 153, 301. So that tells me that the number of adults that went, or the number of tickets that we sold, was 153. And the number of children, the number of tickets we sold there was 301. Okay, for the last problem, what I'd like you to do for that one is we'll set this up together and then you try solving it on your own. Okay, so we'll set this one up together. We know there's a total of 324 people who joined the Comic Gurus group on Facebook. It says female group members outnumbered males by 34. We want to know how many males and how many females joined the Comic Gurus group. Okay, so for this one, we'll let X be number of males. We'll let Y be number of females. And this one's a little bit similar to the last problem, except we don't have money for this one. We're given two pieces of information. We're given the total number of people, so I can write one equation as my total number of people. If X males went and Y females went, X plus Y should be equal to the total, which is 324. So that can be one equation for this part right here. My second equation I'm going to get from this. I know that the female group members outnumber the males by 34. So that means that the number of females, Y, is going to be equal to the number of males, X, plus 34. There's 34 more females than males, so if you take the number of males, X, and you add 34, that should be equal to the number of females. So that's going to be my two equations right there. Why don't you pause the video, try putting this in your calculator to find the intersection point, and then click play to check your answer. Okay, for this problem you should have found an intersection point of 145, 179. So here are my two graphs right here. This is the line x plus y equals 324, and this is the line y equals x plus 34, and this is my intersection point. And so I know that the number of males, therefore, is 145. The number of females is 179. Okay, if you had any questions over this video, please write those down in the margin somewhere, and I will see you in class next time. Until then, have a nice day. You're all wonderful people.